Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome back to another Everton series episode. This is the first episode, or the first piece of content I've actually made in about a month. I needed a bit of a break from Football Manager, as I was a bit burnt out. It was becoming a bit of a grind for me, and work was also really busy, so it was kind of well, preventing me from playing the game and, putting videos out. So yeah, but I am back now. I'm going to try and get back to somewhat regular content for you guys, hopefully every other day, if not every 3 days or so. That's the aim and that's the goal. I'm going to be continuing the Everton series and also the Orlando City series. We only got 3 episodes deep in that one, so really want to try and get quite a few more out for that and see where we can take the team in the MLS. But enough about that. We'll get into the episode today. As you can see by the live com and by the screen here, we are in the FA Cup semi-final. Got a massive game against Manchester United. And yeah, but before we get into that, we'll have a look at the ladder. As you can see, we're currently in 8th position on 54 points. Liverpool, our arch rivals, are 1 point ahead of us in 7th on 55. And then you've got Tottenham, Aston Villa, surprisingly sitting in 5th position on 59, tied with Arsenal for 4th. They recently beat Chelsea, who are actually coming first. They beat them by 5 goals. It was 5-0. So yeah, definitely surprise packets. And yeah, probably one of the teams to beat at the moment. They're in hot form. But enough about that. We'll get into the fixtures. The previous episode was the mid-season review, which was before the Burnley game, which was a game we won 1-0 at home. Pretty straightforward. Right up until the death, where we snatched it away with a Jean Matip goal in the 90th minute. We were on top of them for most of the game, but, couldn't really find the breakthrough till right at the end. We then lost to Manchester United 3-0 at Old Trafford. Their goals coming from Konya, Kramer, and Phil Jones. We never really got ourselves going in this game. As you can see, played a few players that aren't actually playing at the moment. Jean Matip's not playing at the moment. Leighton Baines isn't playing at the moment either. And we've shuffled a few things around, and I've sort of found a winning team at the moment. So, yeah, disappointing 3-0 loss there. We followed that up with another disappointing loss, 3-1 to Newcastle, away from home once again. Javier Hernandez getting a brace for himself, and Felipe Casido also on the score sheet. Ramirez got one back for us, and Ramignoli got sent off right at the end of the game. I think Newcastle are a bit of a bogey team for us, I think. We then followed that up with a disappointing 0-0 draw away to Stoke at the Britannia. Pretty straightforward again. It's Stoke, and it's away. You can't really expect anything more. We then faced Barnsley, beat them 4-1 away from home, so 5 away games in a row in the FA Cup 5th round, which sent us through to the 6th round, of course. Ramirez with a hat-trick there. Sean Sleeth, one of my favourite players on this series, also coming up with a goal there. We then faced CSKA Moscow in the Europa League first knockout round. We versed them in Russia first, in Moscow. As you can see, Eremenko got a goal for them. He's quite a decent player. Jack Mellum also got sent off in the 91st minute for us. And yeah, it was a pretty disappointing game overall. Disappointing not to get an away goal there. We followed that up with a half-decent result, a 1-1 draw with Tottenham, Christian Ramirez once again on the score sheet. They equalised through a player I'm not very fond of, Eric Lamela. We then faced Moscow once again, at home this time, in the second leg. We managed a 1-0 victory here, but we did lose out on penalty shootouts, so we are, of course, out of the Europa League. Delofu and McCarthy missed both of our chances, but if you look at the stats, we should have absolutely destroyed them. On last year's game, I actually had Akinfeev in goals for my Monaco save, or series, and he was pretty poor, but he's come back to bite me on the arse on this series. 36 shots, 19 on target, and we only managed to score 1 goal with 60% possession. And yeah, horrible result. Really bad way to go out. We followed that up with another disappointing result. Away to Arsenal, a 5-2 loss. Chamberlain absolutely destroyed us. He scored 4 goals. Zivkovic also got one familiar player from my Ajax Dutch Players Only series, which of course came to an end. So sad. Ramirez again on the score sheet, as well as Sean Sleeth. Then we went on a pretty impressive run. 6 games without a loss from there. Nottingham Forest first up at home. 3-1 victory. Lukaku, Stones and Campbell on the score sheet. Pretty much played them off the park. Good to see Coleman get a man of the match performance. Then came the FA Cup 6th round. We versed Tottenham again. Just edged them out with a 3-2 victory. Lukaku with a brace. Sean Sleeth once again on the score sheet. Eric Lamela on the score sheet for Tottenham. And a Victor Fisher penalty in the 90th minute. So that obviously put us through to the semi-final, and I think the game's at Wembley. I'm pretty sure the FA Cup semis are at Wembley. Then came Reading, beat them 3-1 away from home in the league. Lukaku, Oviedo and Barkley. And yeah, again, pretty much a dominant performance all around. Good to see we scored 3 goals. Because, yeah, if we don't score 3, we don't usually win. So, yeah. Then we versed Hull at home. Pretty disappointing 2-2 draw. As you can see, they opened the scoring. We got on back through McCarthy. Got ahead with Lukaku, only for Nick Powell to send us crashing back to earth. And got them the draw. And he also got man of the match for that goal as well. We then had a very impressive victory over Manchester City away from home at the City of Manchester Stadium. A 3-2 victory. John Stones and Joel Campbell with a brace. Douglas Costa and Daniel Sturridge on the score sheet for City. And the final game I have played was a 3-1 victory at home against Blackburn Rovers. Ross Barkley, Romelu Lukaku and Joel Campbell on the score sheet for us. And a Rulli own goal for Blackburn. So that pretty much puts us up to date with how the results have gone. And I think we should get straight into the live com. And not click that button. Okay, so today's lineup will be Rulli in goals, despite that own goal in the previous game. We've got Coleman at right back, Ramagnoli and Stones as our centre halves. We've got Oviedo as our left back, who has been playing out of his skin at the moment. Baines was playing really poorly. I've put Oviedo in for like the last, I don't know, 10 or so games. And he's averaged over the last 5 a 7.68, which I think is actually the highest in the whole team out of the last 5 games. No, it's not, because Lukaku's actually got higher. But he has picked up an illness. So he was out for 5 days, 3 days prior to the start of this game, of course. So, yeah, he's not fit. And Ramirez will start. He scored 19 goals this season. So I'm quietly confident that he can, nab a goal or 2 against United. So, yeah, we've got Rabiot and McCarthy as our 2 central midfielders. We've got Sleeth, as always, as our right winger. Campbell, decent form at the moment as well. He'll be our left winger today, with Barkley as our attacking midfielder. And as I mentioned, Ramirez up front. The bench today will consist of Howard, Matip, Baines, Mellum, Nayagalov, Delofu and Liam Walsh. So we don't have a backup striker on the bench, which is a little bit worrying. But there are a couple of players like Campbell and Barkley who can play up front if we need him. So, as you can see, Ramirez is actually the second highest goal scorer in the competition with 6 goals behind Robbie McDade with 7 for Brentford. And our key man is Rulli today. So, hopefully he can have a big game. Here we go, boys. Let's do this. Alright. Pretty nervous about this one. Would love to get to an FA Cup final. That'd be brilliant. Good tackle by Oviedo there. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy these more frequent episodes, coming out in the next, week or so. I really want to try and get back into the swing of things. We've got Ramirez here. Sleeth, what can he do? Comes inside. Ramirez, get in! Ramirez comes in for the injured Lukaku and gets a goal in the first 13 minutes of the game. And that's his 20th goal of the season as well. And the United players are claiming offside. But the goal has been given. It's a really good start for us as well. Campbell with the throw now. Rabiot, back to Campbell. What can he do with it? To Barkley. Barkley. Still Barkley. Ramirez. Oh, almost two. It's a good save by De Gea. Barkley with a free kick. It's pretty poor though. They pump it long. Insigne's in behind. What can he do with it? And he... Oh, what a save by Rulli. And another good tackle by Oviedo. Pretty good defending there, I must admit. Not on the halfway line though, which was where the whole move started. Marta with the free kick. Oh, off the post. Higuain. 1-0. That's only his 4th goal of the whole season, so I guess his second choice must be. Disappointing though, disappointing. Pretty much on the halftime whistle as well. Okay, what are we going to do here? We're going to go... I'm just going to say you've been unlucky so far. Hopefully that'll fire the boys up. I really don't want to punish them too much. Just going to have a sip of water here. Alright. Higuain again. Out to Rodriguez, but that's intercepted by Sleeth there. Doing some good defensive work, tracking back. Stones. Romagnoli. McCarthy. It was actually... I accepted a deal from Sevilla for them to sign McCarthy. Oh! Ramirez! Oh, get in! 2-0. Or 2-1, sorry. But 2 goals to Ramirez. That was a bit of an error there by the United defence. And Christian Ramirez, he is probably the top goal scorer in the FA Cup at the moment. And Insigne has just picked up an injury as well. I don't think I need to make any substitutions. Rabiot's playing quite poorly. We might bring Mellum on in about 5 or so minutes. We'll see how we go here. Stones cuts it out. Barkley. Sleeth. What can Sleeth do here? What can he create? Campbell. Goes inside. Sleeth. It's a good tackle. Barkley! Oh, what a finish. Take a bow. Take a bow, Ross Barkley. 3-1. We'll make the sub. We'll get Mellum on. Rabiot's come back a little bit, but he's not playing well enough for my standards at the moment. We'll get Mellum on. He's a bit more of a defensive player than Rabiot. And we'll try and shore things up a little bit. And Joel Campbell's actually picked up a knock as well, so we'll bring him off. Delofu on. Try and keep Campbell fit as much as we can. Try and minimise the length of that injury. 3-minute stoppage time. Keita, who's always a problem for me when I verse him. And he skied that straight over the post. And this should be full time. Yes, it is. There we go. We're into the FA Cup final. 3-1 victory over Manchester United. Brilliant work, boys. Really proud of that result. And it was fairly even as well, so good to see. We probably got lucky, as I mentioned, Ramirez, 8 goals now. Top of the FA Cup scorers. Hopefully he can... I should play him in the FA Cup final. That'd be justice to him, I think. But that's pretty much going to be the end of the episode, guys. Hope you have enjoyed it. The first one back in a month, and there are going to be more continuing, so make sure you check those out as well. Share this with a friend that likes football, football manager player, you know, whatever, to get the channel out there a bit more. And I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Goodbye.